Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Primetime Local News. Connor Chan here, filling in for Mikhail Henschel with Elise Darwish, as always, including, so we asked you on Facebook, at what point do you consider replacing your current car? You were saying until it doesn't go anymore.
Yeah, the question of the day was that, and I basically, as soon as I drive it till it's dead and then have to switch out. I think that's how I do it. Unfortunately, I don't have enough money to just like buy a new one when something little goes wrong or whatever, so yeah.
I'm the same way. I will drive Anna until it no longer will go any further.
Yeah.
But we have a lot more coming up later on in the show, but right now let's sit over to Brett Holden, who is live on location.
We are here at Century 21 today, where we're talking to Chris Hassel, one of the realtors, here to talk about just how the housing market is. Whether you are buying or if you are selling your house, we will be having some tips and tricks to the trade and what to look for as well. So that will be coming up in this hour. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at Century 21. But first, let's head back into the studio where Elise has a look at your local news.
Great, thank you, Brett. Well, Lakeland College's first annual conference on environmental management took place today. Our Eric Bay has more on the new event.
The conference includes speakers from industry and allows environmental science students to present their capstone projects on the work they've done during their practicum. The presentations used to be done over 3 to 4 days, but the school believes one day will be more beneficial for the students.
You don't get the same level of involvement from the community and from industry. You know, it's easy for one individual to say, hey, I can make take one of my days and to participate in this, but to come back 3 or 4 times. And so that ends up shortchanging the students.
Having the conference in one day not only allows students to network with professionals, but it also allows industry members to see all that the students have to offer.
It's invaluable having the chance to meet some of these individuals from diverse organizations. And I think from my role now, it's a great opportunity to see and meet new students, see what their interests are, and see how we can inspire them to achieve their goals in their careers. Dr. Nadarozny says the event has already been a huge success and hopes to improve it in the coming years.
To be able to make an event that targets the integration or bringing together of the student projects with experts in the field in one event is really what the focus is. And to be able to continue this, I think it can only get better.
Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Across North America, cases of the measles are being confirmed and are continuing to spread. The measles is a contagious virus with 14 cases in Canada so far. The virus is potentially life-threatening and the symptoms may resemble the flu at the beginning.
Measles is a viral infection. It's spread airborne, so you don't have to be in direct contact in order to contract it. It starts as sneezing, coughing, headache, ill feeling, and then it progresses into a characteristic rash that appears on the torso and face with time.
There has been no confirmed cases of the measles in the Lloydminster area, but being vaccinated is key for prevention.
The main prevention is immunization. It's part of the childhood vaccination program in both Alberta and Saskatchewan. They do have a little bit different protocol in Saskatchewan versus Alberta, just at the time they administer it, but it's the same vaccine. Vaccination's the best way we know in order to prevent the, measles from being contracted.
Malik says that if you suspect that you may have the measles, to seek medical attention right away. And now we're going to go to Brett Holden, who is at Century 21 today.
Chris Hassel joins us now here at Century 21, and we're talking about just the housing market and the real estate market coming up. Just when it comes to spring and the summer, what are we expecting when it comes to the housing market if you're buying, and is it positive, negative? How are we looking at it?
Well, typically trends is positive. I mean, it's minus about 300 outside today. So I mean, everyone's ready for spring. Everyone's ready for spring-like temperatures, and that usually brings optimism. You know, we come through a long, cold winter in Canada, So then it's, people get out, they get moving around. That's when the car dealerships, the RV dealerships, and places like us, we like spring. We like spring fever. It definitely helps us along with the buyer's mentality and motivation. There's no doubt about that.
So what can we be looking forward to or looking at when it comes to the spring and the summer in regards?
Well, that's two questions. Number one is optimism. The second thing, hopefully with an election call in Alberta pretty soon, that's going to maybe be a possibility of some changes. So that also helps. On the second prong, the economy obviously isn't stellar right now. I mean, we're doing what we do. So from that point of view, buyers have lots of selection. So right now, interest rates are still really reasonable, and lots of selection means you can usually get a pretty fairly priced home and get most people either started or upgrade or move up, move down, whatever they have to do. So we like spring, summer. So
perfect. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at Century 21, but let's head back in the studio for now.
All right, thanks very much, Brett. I don't think it's minus 300, as Mr. Hassels has quite mentioned. It's more like minus 17, but with that wind chill, it feels more like minus 30. So he's a little bit 10 times off from what his prediction was there. Some records for this time of year: 7 degrees back in 1988 and minus 32 back in 1994. Just take a look at satellite radar map right now. A bit of cloud coverage coming in from the north there into the Cold Lake, and then on the other side behind me there is that cloud coverage coming in from Edmonton into Lloydminster, which we're going to get some cloud coverage through the next couple of days, possibly some flurries on Thursday, which we'll showcase in just a second here. No watches or warnings to report. There is that extreme cold warning still, though, out further east, out in Saskatoon, though. But for the region, we're in the clear. It's just going to be cold, but not to a point where we're at an extreme cold warning. Take a look at some current temperatures around our region. Minus 7s across the board out in Jasper, Whitecourt, and Edson. Minus 13 in Cold Lake. Minus 15 in Red Deer. Minus 9 in Athabasca. Over on the Saskatchewan side, minus 18 North Battleford. Minus 20 in Saskatoon. Minus 19 in Melfort. Minus 16 Prince Albert as well. As we take a look at some temperatures, get more in depth around the region. Minus 21 for North Battleford overnight. Into the morning, they'll feel more like minus 26. But then in the daytime tomorrow, it will be warming up to that minus 7 with some cloud coverage and a little bit of sunshine there. Take a look at Cold Lake right now, minus 15 overnight with the wind, though. It'll feel more closer to minus 25, and then in the morning it'll be more like minus 24. And the daytime high tomorrow for there, minus 5 with cloud coverage, a little bit of sunshine. For us here in the border city, minus 19 overnight. It'll feel more like minus 30. When you wake up tomorrow morning, it'll feel more like minus 29 and minus 17. But then in the daytime tomorrow, minus 7 with that wind, though, still making it feel more like closer to minus 20 with those winds gusting closer to 20 kilometers an hour. Take a look at the next 3 days. Possible 42% chance of some flurries on Thursday with cloudy skies at a high of minus 12. And Friday, cold, minus 20 the high, low minus 24. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Welcome back. Getting your head in the game got a shot in the arm at this year's Agrivisions, and Gerard Lampow reports on the mental health effort on the farm.
I'm 25 years old. I'm fairly healthy.
These ladies do a good job speaking to their peers who are farmers in this area.
Mental health was one of the conversations engaging farmers at this year's Agrivisions. Research from the University of Guelph indicates 40% of farmers feel unease at seeking help because of the stigma around mental health. Leslie Kelly, who farms with a family in Watrous, Saskatchewan, wants to help her peers.
There's lots of barriers when it comes to mental health in agriculture. One is the notion that a farmer should be tough and not show any signs of weakness. The other aspects are what we do, the relative of where we work, isolated in cabs. Our farms are located, in remote locations, so access to treatment is quite hard. Especially if you have animals, you can't go into the city 4 hours away and have those appointments.
Do More Ag is raising awareness to end the stigma and let people know that help is available. Co-founders Kim Keller and Leslie Kelly are sharing their stories.
I know in my personal case that I have a passion, my why of why I am up here speaking about mental health and speaking about the industry. Why I love farming is because of the people. The people in our industry, our farmers, are our greatest assets, and I know that I can help contribute, whether that's through starting conversations online, offline.
Industry groups like Do More Ag are raising awareness about resources that are available. The Lloydminster Region Health Foundation is on board to help all members of the community access the help they need as they ramp up fundraising with their Project Sunrise.
Organizations like Do More Ag really help, I think, bring down the stigma in specific industries that are really important to the Lloydminster area.
The only way he could provide value to the farm is...
Gerard Lampow, Primetime Local News.
And that's your egg news. Sports is next, but first we'll take a look at your egg prices.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
Taking a look at your local sports now, ahead of the Lloydminster Bobcats' final games of the 2018-2019 season, the players can soon begin reflecting on a uniquely challenging season. Josh Ryan has more in this week's Beyond the Boards.
This season has been taxing on every member of the Bobcats roster, mentally and physically. However, they're focused on making the most of the final road trip this weekend.
We know we're not making playoffs, and everyone's kind of a little bit down about that. But I think our biggest thing is just focusing on these next two games coming up this weekend. We don't really have anything to lose. I think it'd be good if everyone went out there and just played their game and just had a good time.
It's not easy coming to the rink all the time when you're losing games and stuff, but when you're down, the only way to get out is through hard work and coming to the rink every day and just trying your best and trying to get better.
Faced with an early off-season, there's mixed feelings about heading home.
I'm definitely looking forward to going home, seeing my family and friends. Definitely not excited to leave the boys. You know, there's a second family here.
Despite a campaign filled with changes to roster and staff, the players bonded quickly.
Little inside jokes around, and some of the guys watch The Bachelor together, and yeah, just going home after practices, making meals together.
Having more personal responsibility and engaging with the community is something many members feel has helped them grow outside of the sport.
I had a junior hockey team in my town growing up, and I just used to look up to them so much, and I used to love them. And so now me being in that situation, it's a change, but I really enjoy it.
And despite how tough certain stretches of the season have been, they'll soon find motivation when they miss the rush of hitting the ice.
It sucks that the season had to be over so early, and obviously all the boys wished for a better outcome than there was, but I think that everyone next year just has to come back with a positive mindset.
It kind of stinks right now that we're losing, but for sure I'll get home and I'll be at home for a couple weeks, and I'll wish I was back here working.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local Sports.
And the wrestlers curling squads won hardware at the ACAC Curling Championships at Olds College this past weekend. The mixed team took silver while the men's team earned bronze. And this means the men will compete at Nationals in Fredericton March 15th to the 19th. And now we're going to go to Brett Holden, who is at Century 21 today.
We are here with Chris Hassel once again at Century 21. And Chris, let's talk about first-time buyers, first-time home buyers. What are some positive things that we could be looking for if you are a first-time buyer, and some possible red flags for a first-time buyer as well?
Positives right now are interest rates still very, very low. It doesn't take that many decades to go back where you see high interest rates. And so cost of borrowing is low. And with the economy being a bit off right now, the price of the real estate is down as well. We have more selection to choose from. Back when things were rolling and high flying, it was a very pressured market, not much for sale, so buyers had to make decisions very, very quickly.
Right.
For a first-time home buyer now, you have choice, your cost of borrowing's down, and maybe not the pressure that you normally feel when engaging in that type of purchase, so to speak.
Now let's talk about the red flags, the other side of that, if you are, or some things to look for as well.
Well, the red flags is where you get engaged with someone like myself, a real estate professional, so the red flags can be mitigated. Number one, you'd say, okay, how do I go through this process? Their number one anxiety is never doing the process. They don't know what to look for, what to be ready for. So we take them step by step is to say, okay, let's go find you the place. Let's get working with a mortgage professional, get the pre-approval done. If we find that house and get the deal tied up, we engage a home inspector to make sure there is no pitfalls or red flags. And then last upon lease, the lawyer puts your name on the title, and so we can turn the keys over to you. So
Perfect. We're running a little bit out of time here. We have about 30 seconds, but let's talk about some common misconceptions that you may have if you're buying a home for the first time.
It's usually their apprehension. They've never done it before. So the number one advice I can give you is get engaged by a pro. Someone that has years of experience, award-winning per se, done lots of it, so we can grab onto that client and say, let's make this fun and easy for you and take away all the anxiety and bump over those pitfalls and red flags and make sure you get a fantastic house that you can enjoy. So.
Perfect. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at Century 21, but let's head back in the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Brett. Taking a look at some current temperatures around the region. Once again, minus 17 for us here in Lloydminster, minus 17 also in St. Paul, Marwayne, Maidstone, Wainwright, and Provost. Minus 8 out in Edmonton, minus 14 in Bonnyville, minus 13 in Cold Lake, and minus 8 out in Lac La Biche. A little bit warmer out there. Over on Saskatchewan, minus 18, North Battleford, minus 16, St. Walburg, minus 14 out in Green Lake and Meadow Lake, and minus 11 out in Isle La Crosse. Taking a look at some other temperatures around the area. Minus 9 in La Roche and Buffalo Narrows, minus 12 in La Ronge, minus 13 down in Flin Flon, minus 14 in Stony Rapids and Wollaston Lake. Out in Alberta, minus 8 in Grand Prairie. A lot of single digits, and they're getting much warmer than we are currently right now. Minus 6 in Peace River, minus 7 in Slave Lake, minus 6 for Big Murray, minus 7 for Chippewa, and minus 2 down in High Level. Heading down south, minus 21 in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, minus 11 in Banff, and minus 12 in Calgary. Kindersley over in Saskatchewan, minus 19, as well as in Moose Jaw, minus 21 in Swift Current, minus 20 in Regina, and minus 18 out in Yorkton. Take a look at temperatures for tomorrow. It's going to be a much warmer day, but that wind chill is still going to make it feel more like closer to minus 20. But nonetheless, it's nice to see some single digits in the area. Minus 7 for us in the border city. Minus 6s all across the board there in Vermilion, Wainwright, as well as in Lac La Biche. Minus 6 in Maidstone as well, as I take that awkward step there. Minus 7 in North Battleford. Minus 5 Meadow Lake. Minus 5 in Green Lake as well. Over to the further down Highway 16. Minus 4 at Edmonton. Minus 5 Vegreville, as well as in St. Paul and Bonnyville, minus 6 also in Lac La Biche. So take a look at your snow accumulation. As I mentioned, there could be that 42% chance that we'll get some snow on Thursday. Take a look at the map right now. As you can see in the lighter blue side, so not quite the 2 to 4 centimeters that it shows in the graphic there, but if anything, it'll be another kind of less than 2 centimeters of snow that we could possibly see on Thursday. Of course, things could change over the course of the next 24 to 48 hours. Take a look at the school day forecast right now. Minus 12 at recess time and minus 16 when you wake up this morning. Mostly sunshine, a little bit of cloud coverage. Minus 10 lunchtime and minus 8 at home time for that drive or bus or walk home. Take a look at the 7-day forecast. Minus 12 Thursday, minus 20 on Friday, minus 21 Saturday, minus 16 on Sunday, minus 11 on Monday, minus 13 Tuesday. There's the trend of 5 straight days of cold weather. Of course, the wind chill plays a major factor in there. No extreme, but not enough to have an extreme cold warning. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
We are back here at Century 21, joined once again by Chris Hassel. Now, Chris, we've talked about the buying side of real estate. Let's talk about the selling half. Let's talk about the best ways to put your house out on the market. Obviously, the most recent rise, I guess, has been through social media. So let's talk about the best ways to put your house on sale.
It's changed a ton. This is year 25 for me, and it's back when we used to have photos on the wall and the fax machine was getting introduced, where now we've got, of course, 90-some% of online shopping is happening. We're engaging people through Realtor.ca, social media, of course, Facebook being the king. Instagram, Snapchat, these are very, very neat ways to be able to put product out to consumers. We can also touch on places like Zillow, which we are also engaged with too as well. So the big thing is we want to focus on is how you as the consumer want to find your information to consume it. And then that's the big thing. We're just trying to match those avenues, is to say if you're an Instagram user, then let's get you some product on Instagram and make sure that the sellers know that those facets are covered by the professional that they choose to market their home.
Now let's talk about more on just the right ways to sell your home and some things to remember if you are selling your home.
Absolutely. Get the lights on. You know, our parents always harping us on turn all the darn lights off. Get the lights on, shovel the walk, stage your home. You're going to compete against other homes in your price range in your area. Stand out. If it shows spotless, if you can eat off the floor, the buyers are going to walk in and feel like, you know, I could live here. And this is maybe where I want to either, you know, raise a family, or maybe it's our first home. So clean it like you've never cleaned it before. And of course, engage a professional to represent you, which is the obvious one, and go from there. But these few little quick tips to make yours stand out in the marketplace, especially when there's a few more to pick from right now. So, yeah.
Perfect. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at Century 21. We've been speaking to Chris Hassel just more about the real estate market, and if you are potentially buying, what to look for, and if you are potentially selling, what to look for as well. So we'll have more coming up from here, but now let's head back in the studio.
So we took to Facebook to ask you, at what point do you consider replacing your current car? Now, a lot of you weighed in, and of course with winter, sometimes it doesn't start. If you especially have an old beat up kind of car, like from the 80s, or something like that. So I just want to read a few of the comments. A common one that I've been seeing is when it starts nickel and diming you, and of course all the repairs add up, and someone just bluntly, just straight up said, the day it doesn't run anymore.
Yeah.
It's true. The day that everything just fails. But to their point too, it's all that repair. It's like, do you want to just pay for all those repairs to still have a car that may or may not last longer, or do you just want to just be like, all right, you know what, let's just do it, just get a new car?
I think that's the big debate, just seeing, is it worth it when it starts being too much, and then car payments on a new car may even be less. So it's hard to say, but I definitely am in the category currently of drive it till it's dead, and then I gotta physically push it to a dealership to get a new car. So
I like this one woman's comment, actually. It says, when I win the lottery.
Oh, there you go.
That's exactly. I think that's how everyone is going to take it. I think for me, you know, I've always taken good care of my car. I'm not very bright when it comes to cars. Like, I don't know when to get an oil change. I know that's bad of me to say, but I mean, and then like just last weekend, my parents said to me, your back tire, passenger tire is flat or getting low. And I'm like, kind of looked like dumbfounded, like I didn't know what to do. But
what kind of car do you have? What year is it?
It's 2005. And
that's not
her
bad.
Her name is Anna, and it's done really well. I name every vehicle even my work vehicles I drive here, I name Anna 1, 2,
That should be a
3.
next question of the day. Do you name your cars, and what do you name it?
Do you have a name for yours?
No, I don't know. Is that more of a guy thing to name cars?
My sister named hers for a little bit.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, she still has hers actually, but
yeah, no, I haven't named mine. Maybe I should. I don't know.
Yeah, let's all figure out a name for Elisa's car. I think that'll be good. But it also, when it comes to, you know, the one thing with money and repairs, just to get back on to the question, you know, when it's getting like thousands of dollars, it's absolutely to a point where, you know, you're like, okay, you know what? But also the value you might get for it when it's, you know, when it's time.
Dealing with cars and stuff just gives me anxiety. I just don't even want to. I just pretend everything's okay, turn up the radio when things start making weird sounds, and then I just like forget about it.
Whenever I take it to the dealership, I always like in a panic. I'm always extra anxious because I'm like shaking. I'm like, I don't know what they're gonna say. I don't know what's gonna cost, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that way when they take their cars to the shop. But let's move on to something that a lot of people like, and that's pets.
There you go.
We all love pets. And here's the 5 that are submitted for today. This is Cole. Submitted there by Carmen, just all curled up in the basket there. Very, very adorable. Up next, we have Sully. Submitted by Taylor. Look at those ears.
Yeah.
Very, very adorable. Next, we have Roy and Lytton, submitted there by Haley. They're just forcibly, one's forcibly hugging the other one.
Adorable.
Next, we have Harley, submitted there by Craig. Look at that little face,
Harley.
though. Very, very cute indeed. And last but not least, we have Woody.
Woody's very
submitted
cute
there
too.
by Chelsea. So thank you to all 5 of you for sending in some photos. If your pet was shown either yesterday or today, you're automatically entered to win a $50 Lloydminster Pet Pad gift card, which we're giving away on Friday on PTLN.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Becca for this week's pet project, and we have a new kind of member today. And do you want to kind of explain who this is? And yeah, we'll go from there.
That's Miss Oreo. That's our guinea pig that we have at the shelter right now. So she's up for adoption.
She's very cute and oddly cuddly.
Yeah, she's pretty social. I mean, sometimes when you're initially trying to get her, she kind of gives a little chase on, but no, once you have her, she's really good and she likes being held. So it's just kind of interesting for some. Like some of them just don't like it at all.
For sure. So we did, I guess, most people think cats, dogs at the shelter, but you do have guinea pigs. Do you have other animals as well up for adoption currently?
As of right now, she's the oddball kind of thing right now, but every so often we have the rabbits in, or even hamsters. Aren't as often, but hamsters sometimes as well too.
Awesome.
We've even had a couple chinchillas, which are
there you
pretty
go.
cute.
And how much would Oreo be?
I believe she's only about $15 to adopt.
Yeah. Perfect. And who do you have in your lap? This guy's been pretty friendly and wanting to explore our office today.
This is Kobe. So he's been in the shelter for a little bit longer. So like Miss Oreo's only been here for probably a few days, but Kobe here, he's was I think kind of close around Christmas time. He's been here since. So I mean, when he first initially came in, he was a little bit sickly. You know, he was a little skinny and hungry kind of thing, but. As you can see, he filled right out.
Yeah,
he's
happy and healthy.
Pretty majestic looking now. But
very friendly and just likes to be around people for the most part, right? And that's perfect. So with Kobe, for adoption fees and things like that, do you want to just kind of touch on that as well?
So he's the $130 to adopt. And I mean, too, with like obviously all the vaccines, the neuter, everything's done for him as well too. And I mean, another interesting fact about him, he seems to really enjoy other cats' company. So if you are looking for a partner in crime for your other cat at home, I mean, he might be a good option for that.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's good to know. And maybe if you want to give a little bit of advice for maybe a first-time adopter, someone who hasn't had a cat but is looking for that company, what do you kind of suggest to look for when you are looking to adopt?
I always kind of suggest an older one just because they're a little bit more mellow and easier to get acquainted with. I mean, kittens are great too, but they're a little bit off the handle sometimes.
For sure.
But I mean, I always try and suggest the older ones just so it's a nice, easy transition for them, something easy for them to get used to, kind of thing. And then just, I mean, all the other basic facts, you know, going over litter box and things like that. But we try to be as informative as possible when people are first-time adopters.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And so how old is Kobe actually?
He's only about 2 years old.
Okay.
So yeah, when he initially first came in, we thought he was like 10.
Yeah,
but
a bit of an old soul, which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he, like I said, he filled right out, and his little spunky character's coming out now. And I mean, he's doing pretty good right now.
Yeah,
but he does
he's
like
been
to.
Quite good. Yeah.
He does like to be adventurous a little bit.
That's okay.
But yeah, no, he's good for the most part. He's a big cuddle bug.
Awesome. And for people who maybe just want to quickly donate, do you want to just kind of remind people how they can donate and if there's anything coming up that they can look forward to donating to?
Yeah, so I mean, you can do it, you can come to the shelter and donate as well too, or even online. We have a monthly donor program that people can join up if they want to do a monthly donation.
Perfect.
You can do that online at lloydminstersbca.com as well. And then, I mean, we have a cat brewery coming up again at the 4th Meridian, so it's just by donation to get in. And kids are allowed as long as they're with their guardians kind of thing as well too. So that's coming up March 14th, so you can donate to that as well while we're hanging out and having some cats running around everybody.
Yeah,
and it was a good time last year, so I'm looking forward to it again this year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for bringing in these members. These guys are up for adoption if you're looking for a guinea pig or a lovable cat. So thank you so much for bringing them in today, Becca.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Pet Project is brought to you by Quick Pick Waste Disposal, Lloydminster's #1 waste and recycling hauler. Quick Pick is waste collection you can depend on.
I am joined once again with Becca from the Lloyd SPCA. We don't have animals with us today, which makes it a little bit easier to chat. So we wanted to talk a little bit about some upcoming events coming up, and one is the Cat Brewery. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never been to one. I'm very excited. I'm already ready to go. So do you want to kind of explain that to people who haven't gone and what that's going to be all about?
Yeah, so it's at the 4th Meridian Brewing Company.
Cool.
So just I think south of town, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just take a few cats that are pretty social and you know, like to visit with everybody kind of thing, and then so we just take it into the building there, and we bring our cat trees, toys, everything for people to just kind of hang out with the cats.
That's awesome. And all of them are adoptable, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So you could go home with a cat
I will
after a
bring
couple
them.
beers. You could make that decision. Who knows? But yeah, so that's really exciting. That's coming up. And also, you mentioned just off camera about volunteer orientation. So volunteers are super important for you guys. That kind of helps run the whole place. So what does that orientation look like? And for people who are maybe curious of volunteering, what they do for help. Yeah,
for sure. So our orientation is just kind of the, you know, the start kind of thing. So all the extra information that, you know, everybody doesn't like to listen to, but they have to kind of go through kind of thing.
For sure.
And yeah, so I mean, we do it at the Lloyd Golf and Country Club. And or curling club, sorry. And so it's about an hour long, so really not too long. And then, so I kind of go through the ins and outs and everything, and then you can sign up for your dog mentoring session, the cat one, and adoption assistant, and book buddies.
Cool.
So the dog and cat one, obviously you get to hang out with the animals and, you know, socialize with them and everything, and get them their time to get out of the building kind of thing and hang out. And then the adoption assistant one, basically joining me with adoption events and kind of hanging out with me there sort of thing, and just helping out the public if there's more than one person there I'm chatting with kind of thing. And then our book buddies are for kids specifically. I mean, like I said, there's no real age limit for me. I think anybody can come read to them if they want, but it's a good one for kids to come and work on their reading skills and then hang out with the animals as well too. It seems to calm the animals. So
no, I think that's
really
a
cool.
great idea. I didn't even know that was part of the program, so I may be coming to read books to dogs now.
You're more than welcome.
But I also just wanted to touch on with that, for people who want to volunteer and maybe think, oh, I don't have too much time to give, but I still want to. How many hours do you guys suggest being able to put in time, and so people know if they want to get involved?
Yeah, so we try and push for at least 4 hours a month kind of thing. So it's not a huge commitment, even if you come in 20 minutes a day kind of to hang out with one animal. It's good. I mean, it's, you know, we try and have lists around showing who has been socialized with and who hasn't kind of thing, so not everybody's, you know, choosing the kittens over the, you know, the old guys, right? But but yeah, so I mean, we try for at least 4 hours a month. I mean, if it's not possible, I mean, then you know, like, I'm not going to say no if you can come in one day, right? Because I mean, sometimes during the week we hardly have any, and then the weekends are overloaded with, you know, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. Everybody gets chatted with and played with and everything like that. But I mean, if you're free during the week, I mean, that's a great time for us as well too.
Absolutely, for sure. And just real quickly, I wanted to touch on the cold weather. It is really cold right now, and we just have to be aware of making sure our animals are safe and sound. So I just want to talk a little bit about your suggestions if you do have cats that are more outdoor cats, what you suggest around the cold time and making sure everyone's healthy and happy.
Yeah, so like just having that extra shelter outside, I think, really. I mean, even if you do have a house cat and it's bolting outside all the time, I mean, we know that happens. So like so I always just suggest, if, like, say it just gets out and it's not used to being out kind of thing, just having something outside that it can go back into if you're not home, or if, like, it's just not coming back and you go to bed kind of thing. Just having something warm out there, you know, a heat lamp, things like that, or even just an insulated little Rubbermaid box. You can find lots of those on Google or Pinterest, things like that. And just, you know, and even like a heated water bowl, just so they have that access to water kind of thing. So I mean, obviously, when it's cold outside, we want them to stay in, right? But I mean, we understand that cats can be stubborn and dogs need to go out as well too. So
for sure. Well, thank you so much. We love coming in, having you come in and chat about all the fun events. So if you are looking to volunteer, definitely contact the Lloyd SPCA. Thanks for coming in, Becca. We appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thanks.
Well, today we were here at Century 21. We were talking more about the real estate market, and if you are buying a home or if you are selling your home, some tricks to that. Chris Hassel, one of the realtors here, mentioned just if you are buying a home, going out and getting that help, and for professional help rather, and if you are selling your home, making sure that it is sticking out in the market. So that'll do it for me here tonight. Tomorrow I will be in Ashburn at a charity hockey game. So I will be there tomorrow. That'll do it for me here tonight. Let's head back into the studio now where Connor and Elise will wrap up the rest of tonight's show.
All right, thanks very much, Brett. Take a look at the 7-day forecast again. Excuse me, minus 12 on Thursday. With a 42% chance of some flurries there tomorrow. We'll get in single digits at minus 7, the daytime high, low there in the minus 19 into the morning, which will feel more like closer to minus 30, minus 20 on Friday, excuse me. Mostly cold temperatures, minus 21 Saturday, minus 16 Sunday, minus 11 on Monday, minus 13 on Tuesday. Of course, that trend of having the 5 days of just cold temperatures with a high wind chill, it's going to feel a lot colder than it is, but luckily for us, there's no extreme cold warnings that are on the horizon.
Still got to bundle up though and plug in your cars because it is going to get cold, so make sure you do that, right?
I got some flack from the guys in my ear that say I don't plug.
You don't plug your car in.
I do plug in my car.
That's gonna go bad for you one day.
I do plug it in. It's just that my extension cord was lost at one point, and it never returned.
Oh.
Never to be seen again. So I had to go purchase another one. But
well, I'm glad your car made it because the odds of that happening when you don't plug it in outside is not good.
Anna is a champ, though. Anna's all good.
How old is Anna?
Old.
Yeah.
Over 10 years old.
Aw, that's too bad.
Oh, well, it's okay, though.
She'll survive. She'll make it.
She will. But that's going to do it for us here this evening, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.
Have a good night.